You're a summoner? That's the weakest class in the world. The moment Lin Xiao awakened his class, everyone laughed at him. His rival called him trash. No team wanted him. No one believed he could clear a dungeon. Even a normal combat class was considered better than becoming a summoner. But they had no idea. Lin Xiao had awakened a unique S-tier talent. A talent so powerful that nobody else in the world could ever obtain it. Every single day, he gains a brand new S-rank talent. His first summon was just a tiny skeleton. Weak, pathetic, worthless. But after receiving an S-rank talent, it evolved into a terrifying Death Knight. A monster capable of slaughtering entire armies. Then his slime gained the power of endless evolution through devouring. His goblin became a master of legendary weapons. And that was only the beginning. While other people struggled to make one summon stronger, Lin Xiao gave countless S-rank talents to all of his summons. Every day they evolved. Every day they grew stronger. Every day they became more terrifying. Geniuses, prodigies, heroes, none of them could even defeat his weakest summon. Then the abyss descended upon the world. Demon gods appeared. Ancient monsters awakened. Even the gods themselves looked down upon humanity. But when humanity stood on the edge of extinction, one man stepped forward. Behind him stood an army powerful enough to shake heaven and earth. An army of death knights, ancient beasts, divine creatures, and beings powerful enough to rival gods. The world finally realized one terrifying truth. The strongest army was never an army. The strongest kingdom was never a kingdom. It was one summoner, and his summons. This is the story of Lin Xiao, the summoner who turned the weakest class into the strongest existence in the world. Week 1 8-hour video will be uploaded. All novels uploaded here are completed, so you will get a full story without searching or waiting. I have listened to the translated version on web, and there are no major problems with translation. If you want Chinese novel translated, give me the original name of the novel and I will respond to your request as soon as possible. Please make sure your request is on the latest video. If you hear this "u" sound in the novel, it means either question mark or some space is left, like getting materials or experience gain there more but not shown. If after a name is used and after there is silence, it means exclamation marks were used as in shock. I don't know if this will happen in recorded one, but it happened in web version. Chapter 275. While the Death Knight was killing the City Lord of Light, Lin Xiao immediately obtained the talent Divine Stone from the treasure vault. The moment he acquired the talent, he immediately helped the Death Knight's talent, Soul Siphon, advance. A brilliant light emerged, and a prompt sounded in his ear. Acquired talent, Reaper's Harvest, Chromatic Grade, Reaper's Harvest. When killing a target, gain 90% of their attributes for 60 minutes. Note: this talent cannot be triggered without the Scythe of the Death God. 90%. This was far more than Lin Xiao had anticipated. Even the duration of the buff was extended to an hour. It was incredibly powerful. Successfully killed City Lord of Light, boss. EXP plus 50 million. Congratulations. You have leveled up to LV 50. Obtained. Fragment of Light, Material Epic, *10, Light Source, Material Epic, *20, Endless Light Arrow, Skill, Forbidden Curse, *1, Talent, Blood Frenzy triggered. Talent Reaper's Harvest triggered. After killing the City Lord of Light, the Death Knight received a massive boost, and his aura became terrifyingly strong. The horrifying experience bonus also directly leveled Lin Xiao up to LV 50. At this moment, the evil dragon finally cleared the black flames from its body, and noticed the powerful energy emanating from the Death Knight. His dragon eyes narrowed slightly. You actually possess such abilities. My vigilance against you was indeed correct. Without special means, how could you have come here? But today you will still die. The evil dragon roared to the sky, evil energy surging. It quickly activated the remaining power of the evil god within its body. In an instant, its already colossal body, which blotted out the sky, expanded several times over, and its scales glowed with an eerie, faint light, like countless eyes peering into the abyss. Its eyes burned with dark green flames, and within those flames flickered desires for cruelty and destruction. Each flicker caused the surrounding space to ripple with fine cracks, like a shattered mirror. It had consumed a great deal of energy fighting the city Lord of Light and was forced to use the power only available to evil gods to contend with him. When it tried to recover, Lin Xiao noticed it, preventing it from recovering much at all. Now that the Death Knight had gained some of the city Lord of Light's power, if it couldn't be quickly dealt with, the evil dragon would become very passive. Moreover, it didn't know if this human had any other unusual methods. So, it now directly used the power of the evil god to deal with Lin Xiao as quickly as possible. Lucky! Lin Xiao immediately summoned the lucky spirit. Wow! It's finally my turn to appear. I thought Master had forgotten about me. In fact, after being sacrificed, she had slept for a long time to fully recover. It was just that Lin Xiao hadn't summoned her out yet. As soon as the lucky spirit emerged and complained, she felt a powerful aura rushing towards her. Looking into the distance, a giant black dragon was continuously releasing a terrifying aura. Wow, Master, you're not going to sacrifice me again, are you? It hurts a lot. And even if you sacrifice me, you still won't win. The lucky spirit immediately guessed Lin Xiao's intention. He wanted to sacrifice her again to trigger the dice's choose-your-own-number effect. Lin Xiao glanced at her and said indifferently, "Not yet, for now." "Phew, that's good." The lucky spirit immediately breathed a sigh of relief, but she quickly reacted and hurriedly asked, "Then how are you going to fight this big black dragon?" Lin Xiao's actions answered her question. Another lucky spirit was summoned, but this one was green. Shadow of the Green Capital. It could copy the previously used skill. Wow, another me. The lucky spirit found it very novel. Sacrifice. Lin Xiao unhesitatingly sacrificed the copied lucky spirit. A green die was cast, landing precisely on 6. Achieved a 6x enhancement. The Death Knight was strengthened once more, gaining attribute boosts through Reaper's Harvest, combined with the Gambler's Dice ability, directly receiving a 6x enhancement. Feeling the chilling aura emanating from the Death Knight steadily suppressing itself, the evil dragon's blood-red vertical pupils suddenly contracted. You are indeed not simple, but what of it? Before the power of a god, you are nothing but an ant, still vulnerable. A piercing roar, waves of sound rolling, made the surrounding air hum. The Death Knight seemed to ignore it, enveloped in thick black mist, like the Grim Reaper walking out of endless darkness. He said nothing, raising the scythe of the death god high. The blade of the scythe gleamed with a chilling light, a cold light that seemed capable of cutting through time and space. The Death Knight charged, rushing towards the evil dragon like a black lightning bolt. Wherever he passed, the space was torn open with black cracks. The evil dragon opened its gaping maw and spewed forth rolling black flames, imbued with terrifying curse power, surging towards the Death Knight. The Death Knight's figure flickered, easily evading the attack, then swung his scythe, drawing an arc that aimed directly for the evil dragon's neck. The evil dragon reacted swiftly, its massive body suddenly shifting aside. The scythe grazed its scales, sending sparks flying. At the same time, the evil dragon counterattacked, swinging its colossal claw with a whistling wind, fiercely striking at the Death Knight. The Death Knight held his scythe horizontally, blocking the evil dragon's attack. The immense impact caused the ground to collapse, and the Death Knight himself sank into the earth. But he forcefully pushed the claw away with his own powerful strength. The evil dragon lost its balance and nearly fell. The Death Knight seized the opportunity, bringing his dark scythe down sharply. The evil dragon's seemingly indestructible scales, before the sharp scythe, were like fragile thin paper, easily cut through. In an instant, scales flew, and crimson dragon blood splattered, leaving shocking bloodstains in midair. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. The evil dragon let out a mournful roar, its voice filled with disbelief and terror. It had clearly used the power of an evil god. So why couldn't it easily suppress the Death Knight before it? It's just residual power of the evil god. What's there to be arrogant about? Lin Xiao spoke with disdain. Speaking of the power of the evil god, he seemed to have 1% of it on himself too. Suddenly, Lin Xiao remembered the last effect of the evil dragon equipment. Power of the evil god. Could unleash an evil god's strike. A strike from a god. Oh no, the evil god didn't seem to be a true evil god yet, but it was enough to give the evil dragon a hard time. But suddenly, a thought flashed through Lin Xiao's mind. It was clearly an evil dragon set, but apart from the first effect, evil dragon summon, all other effects were related to the evil god. Of course, such a thought merely flashed through Lin Xiao's mind, and he didn't delve deeper into it. Chapter 276. The Death Knight, having acquired the power of the City Lord of Light, fought against the evil dragon. With the boost from the Lucky Spirit's gambler talent, he was barely able to contend with the evil dragon. Lin Xiao immediately activated the power of the evil god from the evil dragon equipment. In an instant, the void seemed to be stirred by an invisible giant hand, letting out a sharp howl. An ancient and evil aura surged from all directions. As the power of the evil god was activated, Lin Xiao's body began to tremble violently. He felt as if he had been sucked into a dark vortex, and all his power was being continuously drained. HP, strength, magic power. His basic attributes plummeted like a bursting dam. This evil god's strike consumes so much? Lin Xiao was shocked, watching his attribute values drop to just over 200 within 3 short seconds. His heart was filled with shock. One must know that his lowest attribute was still 10,000, and his HP reached millions, yet in just 3 short seconds only a little over 200 remained. At the same time, behind Lin Xiao, a phantom transformed into a dense, ink-like evil aura, gradually condensing. The evil aura surged endlessly, constantly changing shape, vaguely outlining a massive silhouette. Before long, a twisted figure slowly emerged. After absorbing so much, you better be effective. Lin Xiao looked back at the tall figure in the black mist, its eyes exceptionally clear. Those scarlet eyes drifted with green flames, revealing endless coldness and murderous intent, exuding a chilling and terrifying chill. Just by meeting those eyes, Lin Xiao felt his blood about to freeze, and every inch of his skin bristled with fine hairs. This oppressive feeling was like a lofty god looking down upon an ant, without a trace of pity. Lin Xiao was awestruck by the evil god's aura, but then he frowned, a hint of doubt arising in his heart. This evil god was somewhat different from the evil god he had seen. In the Green Capital Dungeon Yen, he had seen the evil god and personally witnessed Xiao Mo destroy the evil god. But the evil god's eyes in the black mist made him feel something was off. It didn't seem like the same person. Could there be 2 evil gods? Lin Xiao wondered. At this moment, the evil dragon also noticed the anomaly on Lin Xiao's side, noticing those terrifying eyes behind him. Evil god's eye. The evil dragon roared in shock. Why can you summon an evil god's projection? You clearly don't have the power of the evil god. Why? Its hysterical roar showed its unwillingness to believe that Lin Xiao could also borrow the evil god's power. He could even project the evil god's shadow. No, its eyes. Despite its disbelief, the evil dragon clearly felt those eyes locking onto it. Before the evil dragon could react, the evil god's eye suddenly burst forth with dazzling light. A beam of light, imbued with endless destructive power, roared out from the eye. Wherever the light beam passed, the air was instantly ignited, emitting a sizzle, and leaving behind a twisted light and shadow. The evil dragon didn't even have time to mount an effective defense. Its proud dragon scales were pierced like thin paper. Then its body was run through, causing a violent explosion behind it. Everything it touched was instantly reduced to ruins, The ground shattered beyond recognition. Fortunately, the Tower of Heaven was not pierced here. If it were outside, it would surely leave a bottomless, gigantic black hole. But the Tower of Heaven also vibrated violently under the impact of this terrifying power, and the runes on its body flickered erratically. One side of the tower was illuminated by the terrifying red light as if it were purgatory. Even people outside the tower could clearly see this red light. Wow! Another anomaly appeared on the Tower of Heaven. I saw a flash of red light. Is Lin Xiao fighting? This is too outrageous. Who exactly is this Lin Xiao? I previously guessed he just triggered a mechanism to reach the 95th floor and would come out soon, but I didn't expect him to stay there for so long. He's too abnormal. Even the god of war back then didn't achieve such a feat. He can be called a little god of war. Little god of war? I feel his future achievements won't be weaker than the god of war, perhaps even surpassing him. Surpassing? Brother, you can only dream. The anomaly in the Tower of Heaven attracted the attention of more professionals. They all wanted to know what Lin Xiao had experienced up there, and how he managed to stay in that terrifying place on the 95th floor for such a long time. The evil dragon was severely wounded, and even with its terrifying recovery ability, it couldn't heal its wounds for a while. This is an opportunity. Death Knight, beat him to death. The buff state of Death's Harvest has a duration, so they must act quickly and completely eliminate the evil dragon as soon as possible. The Death Knight received the order, raised the black scythe of the Death God emitting a faint glow, and furiously slashed at the evil dragon with extreme speed. Each time the scythe fell, it was accompanied by the sharp whistle of the blade cutting through the air, heavily striking the evil dragon, sending sparks and scales flying. The evil dragon's wounds continuously increased, and as the wounds spread, its aura grew weaker and weaker. With every strike, it let out a painful roar. The evil dragon, which had been so arrogant and disdainful before, now looked utterly disheveled, beaten by the Death Knight without any ability to fight back. It could only clumsily wave its claws to block attacks while hysterically cursing. Damn human, you can't kill me. I am immortal. I don't believe you can keep borrowing the evil god's power. The evil dragon's eyes were filled with venom, staring fixedly at Lin Xiao, wishing it could cut him into 1,000 pieces. As long as you wear that equipment, I will never truly die. Just wait. One day, I will return and tear you to shreds. The evil dragon knew its current situation was dire and beyond remedy. However, facing the threat of death, it showed no fear, because it could make a comeback, and even telling its weakness to the opponent didn't scare it. If Lin Xiao discarded the equipment, it would wait for the next fated person. If Lin Xiao didn't discard it, after it recovered, it would find a suitable time to appear and kill him completely. As the scythe of the death god descended, the evil dragon head was tossed high into the air, then slammed heavily onto the ground. It's dead. The evil dragon is dead. But it didn't truly die. Instead, it transformed into an evil aura and merged into the equipment. This is a huge loss. I get nothing from killing this big black dragon. After confirming Qianlong's death, Lin Xiao couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But he soon started cursing again. The evil dragon's death yielded no experience or rewards. The main reason was that the evil dragon had not truly died. However, this can be considered solving a troublesome matter for me. I don't have to worry about the evil dragon for now, and I can use the evil dragon set with complete peace of mind. Chapter 277, The Evil Dragon is Dead. Temporarily, it will definitely reappear in the near future, and by then, the evil dragon will surely become even stronger. Because it knows it can utilize the power of the evil god, so when it revives again, it will certainly be more cautious and recover to a strength greater than before. Or perhaps, wait until the power of the evil god within its body recovers. If it weren't for the assistance of the City Lord of Light this time, relying solely on the effect of the evil dragon set, the power of the evil god, it truly might not have been possible to kill the evil dragon. I wonder when I will be able to recover. Lin Xiao lightly clenched his fist, feeling a sense of helplessness. The massive drop in attributes not only made him extremely weak, but even the Snow Girl doll and lucky spirit he was maintaining were forcibly returned to the summoning space. A spirit value of just over 200 was insufficient to support both of them being present simultaneously. Even the Death Knight was struggling. So this is what it feels like when your spirit is insufficient. Lin Xiao sighed with emotion. After becoming a summoner, he had never worried about his spirit being too low. But now he was experiencing it firsthand. Lin Xiao, is the battle over? Celia's trembling voice came from the side. Her teeth were chattering and knocking together. It wasn't fear. It was cold. When the Death Knight and the evil dragon started fighting, the Snow Girl doll was responsible for protecting Celia. If she died, everything would be ruined. Therefore, the Snow Girl doll constructed a sturdy house of ice for her to hide inside. But she was just an ordinary girl. Even though the Snow Girl doll had restrained the power of frost, she was still unbearably cold. It's over now, you can come out, Lin Xiao said. Celia quickly fled the ice house, seeing that the outside had become a ruin. Looking into the distance, she could see the end of this floor of the Tower of Heaven. Wow! Nothing is left of the magnificent palace that was here before. Celia was shocked, then let out a cry of amazement. Then she remembered something, quickly ran towards a certain spot, and a moment later let out a shriek. Wow! Even such a sturdy treasury was destroyed. The treasury had been blasted into ruins, and among the scattered debris on the ground, many equipment fragments could be seen. Lin Xiao followed, and seeing the ground covered in debris and equipment fragments, he felt a pang of heartache. These were all his future equipment. What a pity. It wasn't the battle between the City Lord of Light and the evil dragon, or the battle between the Death Knight and the evil dragon, that destroyed the treasury. It was Lin Xiao who destroyed the treasury, or more accurately, the power of the evil god. That single blow not only pierced the evil dragon's body but also reduced everything in that location to ruins. The treasury was naturally no exception. No matter how sturdy it was, it could hardly resist the power of a god. Forget it. I got what I needed. There's no need to feel too sad about things that weren't mine anyway. Lin Xiao only felt a little regret before moving past the matter. He could leave the 95th floor of the Tower of Heaven anytime now, but Lin Xiao chose to rest here first. He would leave once he had recovered sufficiently. Right now, he was a weakling with hardly any life-saving abilities. While waiting to recover, Lin Xiao checked the spoils he had obtained from killing the City Lord of Light. Epic grade materials, equipment, forbidden curses, TSK. There really are a lot of good things. Lin Xiao sighed, looking at the source of light in his hand. This dropped from the City Lord of Light. Source of light, material, epic light, originating from the God of Light. Carrying it regularly can improve light element perception and manipulation abilities, and it can be used for forging epic grade equipment and producing quasi-divine grade potions. Just carrying it provides such an effect, as expected of an epic grade material. Lin Xiao exclaimed. However, this material was useless to him. Whether it was improving elemental perception, forging epic grade equipment, or producing quasi-divine grade potions, none of it was very useful to him. I can keep it. The Starlight Unicorn seems to be a light-type summoned beast. I can give it to her in the future. Lin Xiao thought fondly of Yan Anning's Starlight Unicorn. That super rare summoned beast. Level 60. I'm only 10 levels away now. After resting for 2 or 3 hours, Lin Xiao glanced at his attribute panel. He had recovered about 1,000 points. That's about enough. If I can summon the Death Knight and the Snow Girl doll, I'll have the ability to protect myself. Lin Xiao didn't wait for a full recovery. That would take forever. Looking in Celia's direction, she was still searching for usable equipment in the treasury ruins. Lin Xiao suddenly remembered the Tower of Heaven's escort mission. Alright, no update. Even though I've reached the 95th floor. Lin Xiao shrugged helplessly. This was within his expectations. After all, he reached the 95th floor by exploiting a bug, so it was normal for the mission not to refresh. "I'm leaving," he called out to Celia. She was still searching for usable equipment in the treasury ruins. Hearing that Lin Xiao was leaving, she quickly ran over. "Why are you in such a hurry? Although the treasury was destroyed, there are still many good things here. You can find them if you search," Celia said. Lin Xiao shook his head. "You take your time searching. I'm leaving." "Ah, well, maybe there are even better things on the 96th floor. Hearing that Lin Xiao was unwilling to wait for her here, Celia had no choice but to give up on searching further. "The 96th floor? I'm preparing to leave. You can take your time looking for the treasures you want here." Going to the 96th floor? The 95th floor had nearly exhausted everything he had. He didn't even dare to think about going to the 96th floor. "Ah? You're going to leave the Tower of Heaven?" Celia was shocked. She immediately stopped Lin Xiao and quickly asked, "Why are you leaving now? Aren't you planning to reach the top? You've already reached the 95th floor. There are only 5 floors left." "I only reached the 95th floor by taking a shortcut. Besides, I've already obtained what I needed. There's no need to go up to the 96th floor, and with my current strength, going to the 96th floor would just be feeding myself to the enemy. It's pointless." He also wanted to reach the top of the Tower of Heaven to see what was there, but his strength didn't allow it. "But the 96th floor isn't dangerous. Aren't you going to go up and look?" "Not dangerous?" Lin Xiao was stunned, and only after a few seconds did he ask, "How do you know the 96th floor isn't dangerous?" Celia blinked her eyes and said, "I don't know why, but I just feel like the 96th floor is not dangerous." Lin Xiao fell into contemplation. He naturally wouldn't doubt Celia's words, as she was the Tower of Heaven's special NPC. Taking her to the top of the Tower of Heaven would grant a special reward? Lin Xiao connected this thought to the escort mission provided by the Tower of Heaven. This possibility existed. "Are you sure the 96th floor isn't dangerous?" "Truly not, I promise." "What about the 97th floor?" "I don't know about that." Seeing Lin Xiao hesitating, Celia added, "Just trust me this once. The 96th floor is guaranteed to be safe. Whenever you want to leave, you can leave. There's no problem." Lin Xiao fell into contemplation. He felt that he had triggered a special event in the Tower of Heaven. Perhaps the 96th floor really was not dangerous, just as Celia claimed. If that was the case, he could certainly give it a try. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao headed toward the entrance to the 96th floor of the Tower of Heaven and said, "Let's go." Chapter 278. The shaking of the Tower of Heaven gradually subsided. The white glare and black light that had been emanating from the 95th floor completely vanished after a final streak of brilliant red appeared. Looking at this, the battle should be over. This is unbelievable. Lin Xiao actually passed the 95th floor. What kind of monster is he? Past the 95th floor? What are you thinking? He must have been killed and will come out of the Tower of Heaven soon. Exactly. Not even the god of war has gone up to the 95th floor. Lin Xiao just used some unknown method to get up there. How dare you imagine he could beat the boss above? That may be true, but he's been up there for too long. Could he be playing hide and seek with the boss? That would make the boss seem too cheap. Perhaps there's a special mechanism at work. Let's wait a little longer. Once he comes out, everything will be clear. The professionals near the Tower of Heaven were discussing animatedly, all anticipating Lin Xiao's exit, so they could ask him about the situation inside. After waiting for a moment, they found that there was no movement at the entrance of the Tower of Heaven. What's going on? Why isn't he coming out? Could he have actually cleared the stage? Someone raised the question, but this time, few people came forward to refute him. Because so much time had passed, Lin Xiao should have come out long ago, but he still hadn't appeared. "You? Look quickly." Lin Xiao appeared on the 96th floor. Someone shouted at the top of their lungs, their voice filled with shock and disbelief. Whoa! The scene erupted in an uproar. Lin Xiao was not killed by the boss on the 95th floor. Instead, he defeated the boss and reached the 96th floor. This was simply incredible, utterly outlandish. See, I told you Lin Xiao must have beaten the boss on the 95th floor. Didn't I tell you so? The person who had just been refuted and questioned immediately puffed out their chest and shouted loudly, acting arrogant, as if they had cleared the 95th floor themselves. Ignoring his arrogance, everyone's gaze turned toward the 96th floor. Do you think? The woman who spoke paused. Is it possible for Lin Xiao to clear the Tower of Heaven? Clearing the Tower of Heaven. No one questioned or scoffed because it was truly possible. Perhaps they were witnessing history. The 96th floor of the Tower of Heaven. Lin Xiao chose to believe Celia's words. The 96th floor held no danger. Upon entering, the 96th floor of the Tower of Heaven was completely different from the extremely luxurious and magnificent palace interior of the 95th floor. This place was an endless grassland, where various vibrant flowers bloomed freely. Not far away were rolling mountains covered by dense forests, their branches and leaves intertwined, casting mottled shadows under the sunlight. See, I told you there was no danger here. Celia spread her arms and ran forward, running freely like a bird flying in the sky. Lin Xiao remained vigilant of his surroundings. The scenery here certainly looked nice, but claiming there was no danger was too rash. Celia ran to the very front, and seeing that Lin Xiao hadn't followed, she ran back. What are you standing here for? I already said there's no danger. Don't you believe me? Just being cautious. Lin Xiao summoned the slime, then activated the Eye of Supervision, taking in the entire scenery. Past the grassland, the mountains covered by dense forest were ahead. A lake was situated there, and beside the lake grew a large tree, upon which a treehouse stood naturally formed. It was clear that someone lived here. However, it was obvious that the treehouse hadn't been maintained for a long time, as many flowers and plants were growing wildly over it. After several observations, Lin Xiao confirmed that there were no people or beasts here. See, I told you there was no danger here. None found for now. But to be safe, he still summoned the Snow Girl doll. Hurry, hurry. Cross the forest, then climb to the mountaintop, and we can reach the 97th floor. Celia said excitedly. The 97th floor? Lin Xiao raised an eyebrow and asked, the 97th floor doesn't have any danger either? Nope. Celia answered very decisively. Didn't you say you couldn't remember? Why are you so certain now? Huh? I don't know either. After arriving here, I just remembered that the 97th floor actually has no danger. Celia smiled mysteriously, lowering her voice. Not only the 97th floor, but even up to the 100th floor, there won't be any danger. Lin Xiao, aren't you excited? You'll be the first person to reach the top of the Tower of Heaven. No danger at all. Does that mean no monsters from the Tower of Heaven will appear all the way up to the 100th floor? Isn't this a bit too strange? Did all the monsters here run away? Lin Xiao asked, puzzled. I don't know, but there's just no danger. The 97th floor is a beach, the 98th floor is a volcano, the 99th floor is a starry sky, and the 100th floor. Celia paused, smiling mysteriously. I won't tell you what the 100th floor is. You'll have to go up and see for yourself. I'm really looking forward to it. Arriving at the treehouse, Lin Xiao specifically went inside to look. Aside from the flowers that had grown in from outside, it was empty, containing nothing. It feels like the place was ransacked, Lin Xiao commented. It's also possible they just ran off. They might have packed up everything and taken it with them when they left, Celia added from the side. She then squatted down, picked out a very beautiful flower, and plucked it. What a shame. There are no treasures here at all. I guess I'll just take this little flower as a souvenir. Celia was clearly disappointed. This place obviously didn't excite her as much as the City Lord of Light's treasure vault on the 95th floor. After staying for 5 or 6 minutes, Lin Xiao left this place. There was nothing here but flora and fauna, and no place worth exploring, so he decided to go check out the 97th floor. Whoa! He's crazy. This guy is cheating. How did he get to the 97th floor so quickly? What do you mean cheating? He never turned it off in the first place. Could it be that everything after the 95th floor is just a bonus stage, since he's passing through so easily? Seeing Lin Xiao appear on the 97th floor, the professionals watching below the Tower of Heaven once again erupted in gasps of surprise. This could no longer be described as merely unbelievable. Perhaps they were witnessing history. This news naturally reached Yao Tianyi and Nan Wanqing. Lin Xiao cleared the 95th floor and entered the 96th, and according to the latest news, he seems to have entered the 97th floor. How exactly did that kid manage that? As Lin Xiao's teacher, Yao Tianyi couldn't figure out what was happening at this moment. He knew the difficulty of the Tower of Heaven and didn't believe Lin Xiao relied on his own strength to climb. He must have triggered a mechanism within the Tower of Heaven. Nan Wanqing fell silent, strands of strange light flashing in his eyes. He seemed to have realized something and immediately said, "Cut off the observation and information feed from the Tower of Heaven." Huh? Why? Yao Tianyi was stunned, not understanding why Nan Wanqing made such a decision. The observation of the Tower of Heaven utilized the sanctuary's capabilities, allowing real-time monitoring of the basic status of professionals entering the Tower of Heaven. Turning it off wouldn't cause major problems, but it would lead to a lot of speculation, especially since many people now knew Lin Xiao's current situation. Because Nan Wanqing looked in the direction of the Tower of Heaven and said, "Lin Xiao is about to reach the summit." Chapter 279. Yao Tianyi saw Nan Wanqing's solemn expression and knew the matter was serious. "I remember you said there was a divine inheritance at the top of the Tower of Heaven. Could that inheritance be fake?" Nan Wanqing shook his head. "Before, it was just a guess. But seeing Lin Xiao climb at this speed, I can be fairly certain that a divine inheritance truly exists at the top of the Tower of Heaven. Isn't that a good thing? If Lin Xiao can obtain the inheritance up there, he'll be a god-level powerhouse at minimum in the future. This has never happened before." Yao Tianyi's voice carried a hint of pride. If his student could become god-level, then he would be a god-level teacher. How prestigious that would be to mention. Theoretically, yes, but that inheritance might... Nan Wanqing paused before continuing. "Have problems." Yao Tianyi was stunned. "Have problems?" Nan Wanqing continued. "You've also entered the Tower of Heaven and encountered the special NPC Saria inside, right?" Yao Tianyi nodded. "The Saria I encountered, this special NPC seems to have different names, and the quest is extremely heaven-defying. If she dies, all the rewards obtained in the Tower of Heaven are reclaimed." By the end of his sentence, Yao Tianyi looked almost gnashing his teeth. Because the third time he entered the Tower of Heaven, Saria was accidentally killed by the residual waves of a battle, causing all his rewards from that run to be reclaimed. He was so angry he nearly ground his molars to dust. He would remember this incident for the rest of his life. Because he only needed to defeat the boss on the 60th floor and complete Saria's escort mission, which would count as a save point. But she just happened to die right there. This resulted in all rewards, including experience gained from the 40th to the 60th floor, being reclaimed. That's why he would remember it forever. As the unpleasant memory flashed past, Yao Tianyi immediately realized what Nan Wanqing was trying to say. Could this special NPC be a test? As long as she is escorted to the summit, one can obtain the divine inheritance? But then, recalling Nan Wanqing's solemn expression, he added, "Is the divine inheritance at the top of the Tower of Heaven from the evil god?" Nan Wanqing nodded but then shook his head. "I'm not sure, but there's a very high probability. When I reached the 85th floor back then, she kept urging me to go higher. After I reached the 90th floor, I felt something was off, so I didn't continue. Later, I went to inquire at the sanctuary, but they only gave a vague answer and didn't specify the situation of the Tower of Heaven. It was likely 9 times out of 10 related to my guess, so I didn't attempt any further challenges." Yao Tianyi frowned. Then Lin Xiao is about to reach the summit. Wouldn't it be terrible if he obtained the evil god's inheritance? Is there no way to stop him? Nan Wanqing glanced at him and said, "How can we stop him? Enter the Tower of Heaven now and chase after him. But you don't need to worry too much. Lin Xiao's level isn't high right now. He's still far from level 100. Even if he gets the inheritance, it will probably just unlock a special class Awakener quest. After he comes out, we can confirm with him whether it truly is the evil god's inheritance. If it is, then we'll figure out a solution later." Tower of Heaven, 97th floor. Just as Celia said, this place truly was a beach, and the scenery was quite good. It would definitely be the right choice to spend a scorching summer day here. See? I told you I was right. This is a beach, and there's no danger here either. Celia stood with her back to the sea, bathing in the sunlight. So, for these later floors, did the monsters run away, or were none captured and brought in? Lin Xiao asked curiously. But looking at this seaside scenery, it felt more like a vacation spot than a place to imprison monsters. Huh? I don't know. I remember there used to be some a long time ago, but somehow they disappeared. Celia pondered, then shook her head and urged, "Let's go, hurry to the next floor. I remember there's a huge, tall mountain there that spits fire and smokes." Tower of Heaven, 98th floor. Heat dominated this place. The sky was almost scorched red, and dozens of volcanoes nearby were spewing thick smoke. Although it was extremely hot here, having the Snow Girl doll by his side, cool and icy, made Lin Xiao feel all right. Boom! Without warning, a dull yet deafening roar suddenly sounded. Volcanic eruption. The roar of the eruption was an unwilling bellow. In an instant, the ground trembled violently, and then a scene that shocked Lin Xiao appeared. It wasn't just one volcano erupting, but 10 volcanoes. It seemed Lin Xiao's arrival had angered the volcanoes here. Scorching magma, like crimson beasts escaping their cages, flowed wantonly down the slopes, mercilessly swallowing everything in its path. Thick volcanic ash blotted out the sun, spreading rapidly and dyeing the originally crimson sky a depressing dark gray. This place had now become a hellish sea of fire, and the ejected debris flew toward Lin Xiao's location. The Snow Girl doll gently raised her hand, and a wall of ice condensed, blocking all the splashing rocks. Such bad luck, encountering a volcanic eruption. No, a massive eruption, the moment we arrived. Lin Xiao looked at Celia and said, "Didn't you say there was no danger?" Celia's gaze drifted elsewhere, admiring the magnificence of the volcanic eruption, seemingly ignoring Lin Xiao's words. "It's just a very ordinary volcanic eruption. How can that count as danger for you? When there were monsters here before, that volcanic eruption was truly terrifying." After Celia finished speaking, she quickly urged, "Let's go. Hurry to the next floor. It doesn't smell good here at all." Tower of Heaven, 99th floor. This place was a starry sky. The stars illuminated the darkness here. Lin Xiao stood in this starry sky, looking at the exceptionally beautiful scenery, but his heart felt no great ripples, because he had seen such scenes countless times in the sanctuary dungeon. Why does this place look a bit like a dungeon? Lin Xiao rubbed his chin and looked around. Aside from the lack of a rest area and starry sky filth monsters, there was almost no difference. Do all starry skies look the same? He wasn't sure. Lin Xiao, over here, hurry up and come. In the distance, Celia was standing at the entrance leading to the summit, waving her hand and urging Lin Xiao to hurry over. She seems even more enthusiastic than before. But reaching the summit just like this, it feels a bit unbelievable. Lin Xiao walked over. He couldn't help but marvel that he was actually able to reach the summit of the Tower of Heaven. It was simply incredible. His initial goal when entering the Tower of Heaven didn't include reaching the summit. It was to obtain the heart of the City Lord of Light and the armor of the Light God and then leave. But under Celia's continuous urging, he somehow ended up here, just one last step away from successfully reaching the summit. When he reached Celia, she was smiling exceptionally brightly. A genuine, heartfelt smile Lin Xiao had never seen before. Hurry up and go in. Celia was very excited. Emicham, let's go in and take a look. Chapter 280, Tower of Heaven, 100th floor. At the very top, rough, cold stone slabs stretched out underfoot, extending to the very edge of this floor. There was nothing here, not even a single tree, a speck of gravel, or even the slightest breeze. This is the 100th floor of the Tower of Heaven? It's not what I imagined. Lin Xiao walked over, faintly hearing echoing sounds. There's a rumor that the Tower of Heaven is similar to the Divine Temple, but the latter bestows classes upon humans, while the former imprisons various powerful monsters. There's also a legend that there are gods on the 100th floor of the Tower of Heaven, and whoever reaches here has a chance to become a god. But now it seems, seeing is believing, and this is far from the rumors. As he continued walking, a raised object not far away caught Lin Xiao's attention. It was a stone pillar, with a sphere resembling a crystal ball placed on top. Celia stood beside the stone pillar, smiling as she watched Lin Xiao approach. Lin Xiao, you're too slow. Hurry over, Celia urged. Is this what you wanted to give me? Lin Xiao asked directly after arriving. Celia blinked, surprised by Lin Xiao's question. How did you know? A guess. Lin Xiao shrugged. It wasn't hard to guess. He had this feeling on the 97th floor when Celia kept urging him to reach the top. Something must be waiting for him. So what is this? Lin Xiao looked at the sphere on the stone pillar. It wasn't transparent. He could vaguely see chaos flowing within it. This is an inheritance. You know about gods, right? Celia introduced with a smile. Divine inheritance? Lin Xiao raised an eyebrow. Although he had a guess in his heart, he was still surprised after it was confirmed. Divine inheritance. There are two ways to reach the god level. One is by one's own power, and the other is by obtaining a divine inheritance. For the former, one needs to reach level 100, then obtain divinity and a god seat through their own abilities. For the latter, one only needs to reach level 100, then obtain a divine inheritance to reach the god level. And now, before Lin Xiao, there was a divine inheritance. This meant that as long as he could obtain it and raise his level to 100, he could become a god. He would need to obtain divinity and a god seat through his own abilities. Whose divine inheritance is this? Lin Xiao's voice carried a hint of excitement. It would certainly be a lie to say he wasn't excited. I don't know. Celia shook her head. I'm only responsible for leading people here. I don't know much about the rest. She blinked and asked, Lin Xiao, do you want it? If you want it, just touch this sphere to get it. However, your current level is very low, so you can't become a god directly. You need to raise your level first. I can get it just by touching it? Isn't that too simple? Are there no trials or anything? Lin Xiao felt something was fishy. It seemed too easy to obtain. He didn't doubt that there was a divine inheritance at the top of the Tower of Heaven. But for it to be so easy to acquire, he felt there was a trick. Celia tilted her head and retorted, Is it simple? You had to carry me all the way up the tower to the 100th floor, and I couldn't die. Is that simple? Although you took a shortcut, not everyone knows the shortcut, so that's part of your ability. Moreover, you not only killed the City Lord of Light on the 95th floor, but also that powerful great black dragon. Is that not enough? Listening to Celia's reasoning, Lin Xiao thought back and realized that the journey had indeed been difficult. Celia's constant, death-seeking behavior and having to protect her from dying was indeed a difficult trial. As for the City Lord of Light on the 95th floor, it was mainly killed by the evil dragon, and he merely delivered the final blow. The same went for defeating the evil dragon. When you put it that way, it really wasn't simple. Lin Xiao's attention returned to the sphere on the stone pillar and he asked, Can I really just touch it? Really? When have I ever lied to you? Celia replied with a smile. Lin Xiao reached out and touched it. The sphere emitted a blinding light that enveloped him. and a scene from the past unfolded in his mind. A floating city stood in mid-air, surrounded by numerous rare birds and beasts of considerable strength. A divine eagle maiden sat on the throne within the floating city. Lin Xiao slowly extended his hand, his fingertips lightly touching the mysterious sphere. In an instant, the sphere erupted with an extremely dazzling light, like a small sun igniting, and the light devoured him without warning. Immediately after, a distant scene from the past, like an ancient scroll slowly unfurling, gradually spread out in his mind. He saw a magnificent floating city. Within the city, buildings of various styles were scattered in an orderly fashion, with flying eaves and upturned corners, pavilions and towers, showcasing the city's past glory and prosperity. Numerous rare half-human, half-beast creatures guarded the city like soldiers. On the throne in the center of the floating city sat a divine eagle maiden. Her dark hair flowed freely, each strand seemingly imbued with life. Her eyes were like brilliant stars in the night sky, deep and bright, making it impossible to look directly at them. Her skin, delicate and fair as mutton-fat jade, gleamed, yet exuded a coldness that kept people at a distance. God of Sky, you poor caged bird, don't you feel pitiful and pathetic being imprisoned here? You're a god, yet you have no freedom. How pathetic! I feel sorry for you. At this moment, a female voice rang out, very familiar. It was Celia's voice, the divine eagle maiden, referred to as the god of sky. Her gaze turned cold. My persistence is to guard you, despicable thief. How pathetic. The divine temple sent a single high god to guard me. Don't you know what that means? This is a disguised imprisonment of you, you fool. Look at the world outside. Do you think you can suppress me? As the voice faded, the city walls suddenly disappeared, and the divine eagle maiden saw the outside scenery, empty, with nothing there. The once glorious floating city was gone, leaving only the throne she sat upon. And the guards had vanished completely. Don't you see? How can you suppress me if our strengths aren't equal? The divine temple is just subtly imprisoning you, subtly having me deal with you. Can't you see that yet? The voice brushed past the divine eagle maiden's cheek, slowly entering her ears. No, impossible. How did you do that? The divine eagle maiden's face was filled with horror. Still don't understand? This is the gap between a high god and a lower god. Sending you to guard me was to have me eliminate you. Don't you get it? You can't bewitch me. The divine temple has no reason to do this. The divine eagle maiden shouted, attempting to spread her wings to create a gale, but her wings had vanished at some point. She was completely unaware. The divine temple lost and still has to support you all. Isn't it only natural that you, a trash, would be dealt with? No. You can't spout nonsense here. The divine eagle maiden roared, preparing to use the Tower of Heaven to suppress the other party. But the next second, her pupils lost their luster, and she slumped on her throne like a lifeless bird. You wavered. There's nothing you can't get your hands on. A figure appeared, Celia holding a feather in her hand. The god of sky's divinity and god seat are nothing special, but they're just right for dealing with the trouble later. Servants of the star god, dependents of the mountain god, war beasts of the sea god, spirits of the grass god, warriors of the god of light. Is the divine temple responsible for picking up trash? This feather is enough to deal with you. Celia, with a cold laugh, vanished from the 100th floor of the Tower of Heaven. The scene ended there. The amount of information was overwhelming. While Lin Xiao was still processing it, a notification sound rang in his ear. Congratulations on obtaining God of Thieves Inheritance. Since your class is not awakened, you have received a class awakening quest. Thieving Summoner. Chapter 281. The Legacy of the God of Thieves. Lin Xiao finally realized what was happening and looked at Celia standing in front of him in surprise. He wasn't surprised that Celia was a goddess. He had more or less guessed her identity along the way. He was just surprised that this result was far beyond his expectations. The Tower of Babel wasn't without monsters from the 96th floor to the final 100th floor. They were simply dealt with by Sally long ago. But the Lord of Light on the 95th floor is still there, which means she perished there. So the thief the Lord of Light was referring to wasn't me, but Celia. Judging from the memory just now, Celia doesn't seem to be a good person. Moreover, they seem to be in an adversarial relationship with the temple. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao immediately said, "I refuse." Celia blinked. "You can't refuse, it's mandatory." As expected, after Lin Xiao refused to accept the inheritance, a notification sound rang in his ears. The thief god's legacy is forcibly bound. The Awakener quest will automatically unlock after level 60. Lin Xiao fell silent for a moment, then asked, "So after you failed to escape from here, you plan to have someone climb to the top and take you away?" "That's right, I could have left. But that damned Lord of Light is too cunning. I can't kill him no matter what I do. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known that he had hidden his heart in the treasure vault. Otherwise, I would have left long ago." Celia was angry when she recalled the past. "So, by a twist of fate, I ended up helping Celia solve this big problem?" But he had no choice but to take the heart of the Lord of the City of Light. Lin Xiao frowned. Celia continued, "After that loss, I changed my strategy and became part of the Tower of Babel. Whoever can reach the top will inherit my legacy and gain control of the Tower of Babel. But there is a problem, which is that I will lose all my memories. The closer I get to the top, the more my memories will gradually recover. So I have never lied to you. My memories will only be fully restored when I step into this place again. Actually, besides you, there is another person who can also reach the top. He has climbed to the 90th floor, but he doesn't come back much after that. It's infuriating. Fortunately, my wish has finally come true." Celia was thrilled. She could finally leave this awful place. Lin Xiao knew who Celia was referring to, the god of war, Nan Wansheng. Perhaps he discovered something amiss while climbing the Tower of Babel, and stopped going up after reaching the 90th floor. "Your current class is too weak. I'll give you a new one so you can level up faster. Don't underestimate me. I'm a high god, much stronger than those trash gods like the water god, fire god, light god, and grass god." "Vulcan is trash?" Lin Xiao was slightly startled. He had seen the goddess of fire, and he had seen her when she was angry. That power was terrifying. But unexpectedly, Celia was even stronger than them? The god of thieves. This sounds like a cheap trick, it's not going to be any better. But to say it's better than Vulcan, are you kidding me? Celia forcibly changes your class to thief. A Taoist master? Lin Xiao frowned. Don't think this job is about petty theft. The skills involved are much greater than you might imagine. Not only can they steal items from other people, but they can also steal their level, experience, talents, and potential. Upon hearing Celia's introduction, Lin Xiao couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, "So amazing? She can even steal experience points? If you can steal this, then why bother with dungeons? You can just steal it directly from other people." Seeing Lin Xiao's surprised look, Celia proudly puffed out her chest and continued, "That's not all. After you awaken your profession, you can also steal hearts and memories. If you like a girl, as long as you steal her heart, she will fall for you and love you for a lifetime. Furthermore, once you reach the god level, you can steal the thrones and divine status of other gods. People will avoid you when they see you. They can even steal a god's throne and divine essence? Isn't this a bit too extreme?" Lin Xiao suddenly remembered the scene that had just flashed through his mind. The eagle girl had suddenly died, and Celia had a feather in her hand. That might be something like the divine essence of the eagle girl. Seeing Lin Xiao's interested expression, Celia pressed, "How is it? Isn't it amazing? That's really impressive. That's the truth. They can steal anything. How could they not be amazing?" "Hey, that's pretty amazing." Celia was very proud, but the next second, her smug expression froze. "Celia, the thief god, forcibly prevented your job change. A notification sound rang in Lin Xiao's ear, and then, with the protection of the god of thought, a demigod, the thief god's forced job change failed. Having gained the favor of the goddess of fate, the thief god's forced job change failed. Having attracted the attention of an evil god, the thief god's forced job change failed. Having gained the attention of the god of fire, the thief god's forced class change attempt failed. With the blessing of the god of forging, the thief god's forced class change failed. By the protection of the elf god, the thief god's forced class change failed. Having gained the attention of the temple, the thief god's forced class change attempt failed. The series of notification sounds left Lin Xiao completely bewildered. When did I become noticed by so many gods? A total of 7? I recognize everyone else, but this elf god. When have I ever encountered him before? Lin Xiao was completely bewildered. Ever since he forcibly obtained the inheritance of the god of thieves, he had been completely bewildered. Celia's smug expression turned resentful. Lin Xiao, I underestimated you. I never imagined you had contact with so many gods. Lin Xiao shrugged and said nonchalantly, That's a real shame. Your profession sounds quite appealing. It's okay. They can steal it out one by one. Then there's no way they can stop me. Celia reached out her hand towards Lin Xiao, but instead of touching him, she extended it into the air. At that moment, a green light enveloped her hand, and a recite caught her attention. A small green figure appeared on Lin Xiao's shoulder, glaring angrily at Celia. The Xiaomo. Celia blinked. What's this little nose thing? A god of thought? A mere demigod. Not even a god dares to stop me. Oh, I told you, you're so pathetic now that you're not even a demigod. Celia sneered. Seeing this, Lin Xiao immediately protected Xiaomo and retreated. It's no use pushing it any further in this Tower of Babel. The difference in our levels is too great. Although there are some obstacles, the gods who watch over you and protect you cannot stop me. As soon as Celia finished speaking, Lin Xiao felt a strange sensation all over his body, as if something was about to be taken away. Lin Xiao wanted to resist, but he was powerless to do so. As Celia said, the gap in strength between the two is like a chasm insurmountable. Hee little thief cat. What you're doing isn't right. With a chuckle, a door appeared in the void and then slowly opened. Chapter 282. Creak. A highly penetrating sound rang out. The door slowly opened, and a figure walked out. Goddess of fate? Celia's expression first showed astonishment, followed by solemnity. Hee little thief cat. Don't go too far with your actions. The goddess of fate spoke frivolously, a playful smile on her face. At this moment, Celia understood and spoke in a deep voice. So Lin Xiao is your subordinate, and his successful ascent to the top was all part of your plan? Lin Xiao looked at the suddenly appearing god of fun, and for some reason, he wasn't surprised at all. Just as Celia said, it seemed like she was secretly pushing everything forward. Thinking carefully, how could he possibly defeat the boss on the 95th floor of the Tower of Heaven? Even if she had said he didn't need to fight the boss to obtain the heart of the City Lord of Light. If it weren't for the Divine Protection Potion and finding the last piece of evil dragon equipment in the treasury, without all these elements combined, he wouldn't have been able to fight the City Lord of Light at all. So she knew about it long ago? Or rather, she saw it beforehand? How could that be? I don't have that ability. Humph. Celia snorted coldly. Someone who toys with fate. Do you even believe your own words? The goddess of fate blinked, asking curiously, why wouldn't I believe my own words? Less nonsense. Fight me. Even though we are both high gods, and even if you are a deity who controls fate, you still can't do anything to me. Celia raised her hand, ready for battle. A fight? I never intended to fight you. The goddess of fate came over to Lin Xiao and glanced at him a few times, seemingly confirming whether he had sustained any other injuries. Then she looked back at Celia and chuckled. Although we are both high gods, there are also gaps between high gods, little thief cat. Is that so? Celia sneered, but her voice gradually weakened. Then, with a thud, she fell straight to the ground. Lin Xiao widened his eyes, glanced at the god of fun, and then looked at the fallen Celia, his face full of disbelief. It ended just like that? He thought there would be a great battle. There are also gaps, but isn't this gap too huge? She was instantly killed? Hee hee, it's the first time I've seen that expression on your face. Are you very surprised? The goddess of fate laughed. I am indeed surprised. Lin Xiao did not deny it. He then looked at the fallen Celia and asked, is she dead? Not yet. I merely made her fall into a fate selection. She probably won't be able to get out anytime soon. Fate selection. This must be some kind of ability belonging to the god of fun. The god of fun blinked and asked, you don't really think all of this was arranged by me? Using you to get rid of her, do you? No. Lin Xiao immediately shook his head in denial, then thought for a moment and added, but it certainly feels like you arranged it. That's funny. You actually believe such nonsense. Fate is not predetermined. Everything that happens is your own choice. Even I, who possess the power of fate, cannot interfere. The god of fun lightly spun around, passed through a suddenly appearing doorway, and vanished from the spot, leaving only her voice echoing in the empty space. Did Lin Xiao care? He actually didn't care much, because if he thought too deeply about this, speculating in the direction of conspiracy, he would only feel terrified. He would purely be making himself miserable. But he knew one thing: as long as his strength was sufficient, he could face everything calmly. Lin Xiao glanced at the unconscious Celia, wondering whether he should go up and finish her off to loot her equipment. After all, she had quite a few good things on her. But on second thought, he decided against it. Celia was a deity, after all, and waking her up would likely just cause him trouble. Let's go. As soon as the thought of leaving crossed Lin Xiao's mind, a notification sounded in his ear. Do you choose to leave the Tower of Heaven? Leave. The next second, Lin Xiao vanished from the spot, and when he opened his eyes again, he was back in the house he had rented. Coming back to the original spot is quite convenient, Lin Xiao muttered. Lin Xiao murmured, preparing to head to Forging God Mountain again to find Old Goat and resolve the issue of the Heart of Curse inside him. Just as Lin Xiao was about to set off, a notification sounded in his ear. Congratulations on successfully reaching the top of the Tower of Heaven and defeating the final boss. Divine Eagle Maiden. Reward: Tower of Heaven usage rights. Temporary. Lin Xiao defeated the Divine Eagle Maiden? He knew the Divine Eagle Maiden was the boss of the 100th floor of the Tower of Heaven. But he hadn't killed her, had he? Could it be a bug that credited the kill to him? But getting the Tower of Heaven usage rights, that's a great reward. Lin Xiao was very excited. That was the Tower of Heaven. He could actually use it freely. Even if it was only temporary, this was extraordinary. With a thought, Lin Xiao could immediately sense the existence of the Tower of Heaven. And at the same time, an information panel appeared before his eyes. Tower of Heaven. 100th floor, empty. 99th floor, empty. 98th floor, empty. 94th floor, King of the Forest, Boss, Level 99. Hidden Map, Forest Secret Realm. Materials: Root of Wood, Stone of the Forest, EXP 2 billion. 93rd floor, Wind Frost Dragon Horse. Seeing the information panel before him, Lin Xiao was stunned. He could actually see the information of all the monsters inside the Tower of Heaven. Even the materials for the hidden map on that floor, and how much EXP the boss had, were clearly displayed. The boss on the 94th floor actually has 2 billion EXP. How many levels could that let me gain? Lin Xiao sighed in amazement. Although he had killed the boss, the City Lord of Light, on the 95th floor, the experience he received was pitifully small. A large portion of it had been swallowed by the evil dragon. Logically speaking, since the evil dragon came from my equipment, the effort it put in should be credited to me. Is it because I haven't tamed it yet? That possibility is very high. Besides being able to see the Tower of Heaven's information, it seems I can't execute the monsters inside arbitrarily, but I can put new monsters into it. Having obtained the Tower of Heaven usage rights, Lin Xiao roughly understood how to operate it. However, all floors of the Tower of Heaven were already filled with monsters. If he wanted to put new monsters in, he could only place them between the 95th and 100th floors. Moreover, he also discovered that monsters above the 90th floor of the Tower of Heaven do not respawn after being killed. New monsters must be captured to replenish them. Lin Xiao's gaze fell upon the 5th floor of the Tower of Heaven, where a warrior professional was struggling against the monsters there. Not only could he see the other party's information, but he could also decide whether they could pass. This is a good thing. It would be awesome if I could keep it forever. I can only use it temporarily now. Does Celia hold half of the usage rights?